And with this, I would like to introduce our final speaker. Just before I do, I just want to say, Anuradha Didi, that it's so cool that you've got, firstly, you've got awesome parents, it seems like, and also how fortunate you are to meet Srila Gurudev as well. So if you do feel inspired to say even something after your dad speaks, you're more than welcome to, yeah? So just keep that in mind if you do. But without further ado, I'd like to introduce our next speaker, Sriman Rupanarayana Prabhu. Haribol, Dandavat Pranam.
Dandavat Pranam, Haribol. Om Jnana Timirandasya Jnananjana Shalakya Chakshuro Militamena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namah. Om Vishnu Paraya Radhikaya Priyatmane Shri Srimad Bhaktivedanta Narayana Tinamine. First of all, I'd like to offer obeisances to our entire Guru Varga and dust of the lotus feet of my beloved Srila Gurudev, and offer obeisances to everyone listening. Please, I'm a little intimidated, a little nervous as well, speaking in front of all of you qualified devotees. So first thing is, Rekha said that I brought her to Srila Gurudev, and I wanted to say is that I do not have that capacity to bring anyone to Srila Gurudev. Gurudev may use us as an instrument. Gurudev may use us as an instrument, but one should not think that he or she brought someone to Gurudev, because it's Gurudev who is bringing us to him. And when my parents took up the Krishna consciousness in 2001, we were having some really karmic situation and some bad karmic situation. And Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita, the 4 types of people that come to him. And unfortunately, we were the ones, the distressed. And due to my mother and sister, we came to this. My parents were introduced to Krishna consciousness. And me being a young guy, 18 years old, and this was like a culture shock for me. And I was one of the rebellious jiva who did not want to take up to this Krishna consciousness. So I saw I couldn't follow half of a regulative principle. So I left and I went to New York about a year after, when I was 19 years old. So just to fast forward, in 19, 20, 21, 2 weeks, I'm just going to lead up to when I met Srila Gurudev. After living life in New York for a few years, in 2005, 2 weeks before my 22nd birthday, this is how Gurudev came to me. I've never met him, never heard of him. And an arrangement, I would say, that Gurudev made for me. So March 2005, 2 weeks before my 22nd birthday, was around this time here. And this is a factual event, no exaggeration, none whatsoever. I'll get goosebumps because it's a true experience I've had. So one night I went to sleep, and in my lying there in the bed, I guess I died. And didn't know about Yamadutas, never heard about Yamadutas, never experienced hell in this life or what's not. So anyway, these 2 gruesome, horrible entities came before me. And we hear about the symptoms of bhav, heart melting, herpelation, hair standing on end, and these ecstatic symptoms. But for me, experiencing that death before my eyes was the opposite. Your heart is pounding so much, coming out of your body. You're like an animal, like about to behead or was being beheaded, and you're so scared and screaming and crying, and words are not coming out, sound is not coming out, and this is happening. And with a whip-like rope, they put it around my neck and they pulled me, noose, and they dragged me to hell. And whilst dragging me to hell, they brought me at an entrance, and it had these golden fiery gates. And I was on the right-hand side, knelt down, and they're trying to pull me up because I'm like unconscious in a way, you know, and so scared. And they're pulling me up and having my head up. And on the left-hand side, I'm seeing, at that time, in 2005, I'm seeing Britney Spears, Michael Jackson, 100% factual what I'm telling you. I'm seeing these celebrities being brought and being pulled into hell, and they're screaming and they're fighting and they're trying to fight off these Yamadutas. And they're pulling in them into hell, and there's so much screaming and suffering. Then I'm wondering, why am I not being pulled in? Then a few moments later, I'm just summing up this story. A few moments later, these gates began to close. And as they began to close, on the top left-hand side, I felt like I got the knowledge at that point that this person that is speaking there, it's like a king or a superior person in charge of this place, hell. And on there, on that left-hand side column, he said, the voice sung that I did not see this person, but I heard the voice coming from there. And it said, you will not enter into hell because you will take up the Krishna consciousness. And everything started to disappear. And there I am on my bed, crying and shaking. And I've gotten an opportunity. So I went down on my knees. Unfortunately for me, I had one Bhagavad Gita, which I never read. I went and I grabbed that Bhagavad Gita and I'm crying. And I swore on that Bhagavad Gita that I will take up the Krishna consciousness. So I ran, being a rebellious soul, so conditioned. We all hear that, oh, Gurudeva, I'm so fallen. But to experience and know that you're so fallen and mercy of Srila Gurudeva. And why I'm saying Gurudeva is arranging this is because 1 or 2 weeks later, my parents called and said they're coming in 2 months, March, April, and May, to meet Srila Gurudeva, this personality in Houston, Texas. First time now I'm hearing about Srila Gurudeva, not knowing that for me, like later on, like now I'm trying to realize that Gurudeva is making this arrangement, knowing how sinful I am, how conditioned, how fallen I am. And not just being like a parrot and saying, Gurudeva, I'm so fallen. And as I was, my parents said they're coming and what's not. So I went to one ISKCON temple and just, because, you know, I'm now trying to accept Krishna consciousness. So there I am, and I'm telling them that, yeah, my parents are coming and they're coming to meet one of your like gurus, you know, this Swami like this. And then they started to poison my mind. Imagine, I don't know anything about Krishna consciousness. I'm now coming. And I just say that, you know, I'm proud to say my parents are devotees. You know, like if you go somewhere, you could say, oh, my friend works for Apple or something. You know, egoistically, we like to do this. And so then they started to poison my mind. I was like, oh my God, what is my parents getting into? They're coming from a third world country, and poor people, they're, you know, they don't pretty much know. So I'm thinking now. So anyway, they came, and I'm trying to tell, they probably can't remember because they're so happy and excited. And they told me that Damodar Maharaj, they met the Swami, Damodar Maharaj, and they got phone initiation through phone. And so we made the arrangement and we got one video camera. So I was going along as a family trip, family vacation. I thought that accepting Krishna consciousness means just say, oh, Krishna, okay, I'll start going to the Hare Krishna temple and go to Sunday feast, and that's it. I didn't know there was more to it, really. So in Houston, Texas, beautiful Columbia Lake Resort, 2005. This is May, 2 months after I've received that dream, that experience, I would say. There I am, poisoned mind about this personality, this Swami. So my parents and everything are bowing down, Srila Gurudev's coming, and I'm videotaping. And I'm not bowing, you know, because, like I said, and as he's approaching, I just moved the camera and magnetically, I don't know, I just fell down and I bowed and I offered obeisances. That was one experience. And so a few days later, for time, due to time, I'm just trying to simplify things. A few days later, it was initiation, and my parents, my mother, father, sister, brother, and so many other devotees, 15, 20 devotees were receiving initiation in one beautiful cabin where Gurudeva was staying. And I was outside about 100 feet, having my 3-year-old, 4-year-old niece babysitting whilst they were all receiving initiation. Damodar Maharaj and Madhavrat told me, tried to persuade me to receive initiation, and I was like, I was making all the excuses. I can't give up on eating garlic. I can't do all of these things. Like I said, I thought Krishna consciousness is just, okay, I'm going to just go to the temple and, you know, chant Hare Krishna a little bit and engage in a little kirtan, and that means surrendering to Krishna. So I was like, no. And plainly they realized that I'm very, what do you call it, stern. So they didn't persist anymore. So anyway, my parents and everyone received the initiation in the room, and they all came out after some time, and they were so elated. They were greeting and meeting each other from different parts of the world now. Oh my God, brother, my God, sister, and they all have their nice white japa bead bag, and they're like glowing and everything. So, and as they're coming and they passed in front of me, Yashoda ran to her parents and what's not. All of a sudden, on the left-hand side, like I said, I was about 100 feet away. And Madhav Maharaj came by the door and he said, anyone else for initiation? And like time, there's no, in terms of distance, 100 feet became 1 foot. And I'm there like a magnet. And you know, you hear people speak story, and sometimes you're like, oh, maybe they're exaggerating, maybe they're, you know, like this. And because the mind naturally, we like to doubt, you know, we like to say, oh, maybe it's they're adding some spice to it or what's not. But I'm telling you factually that within a moment's time, I'm in there and the door is closed behind me. And Madhav Maharaj left, and there I am, and I saw this personality sitting on this chair, this sofa. And so I went down, and we haven't made eye contact yet. So I know according to etiquette, so I sat on the floor. And as I'm sitting on the floor, I reached into my pocket to try to offer some donation to the Swami like this. In my mind, I'm just saying at that time. So as I'm reaching and I about to offer Gurudev $20, Gurudev looked at me and he said, what is this for? What job do you do? He did not take this $20 from me. And when our eyes met, I felt love for the first time. And it was someone who I'm running from, who I don't want to be with. has brought me to him. You're telling me this is not love? Like, usually you tell someone you have an argument, someone walks out from your life, or, you know, situations, brothers and sisters, husbands or wife, and they're like, they don't want you. This person, I'm telling you, I'm trying all how to run from you, and you're sitting there and you're hypnotizing me, oh Shri Guru. And he's looking into my eyes, my heart is melting. And I was sold. I didn't know what to think anymore. And then he started to speak to me and tell me about that Krishna is the supreme personality of Godhead. He can create so many universes and in a moment's time destroy it. Mind you, 20 devotees who wanted to get this opportunity that I, a rebellious soul, didn't want, got that opportunity. It's like, what did I do to deserve what they wanted? They were like I said, they were packed in that room wanting initiation, and I didn't want to. And this personality has brought me to him to show that I can take everyone away. And I'm going to tell you this now. Srila Gurudeva said to me, he's sitting in front of me to tell me this. He said, so after a few moments, Madhav Maharaj came in, gave him the japa mala bag, and he told me to repeat after him. Then Madhav Maharaj left again. And he said to me, after chanting this mantra, he said, from now on, you have no brother, you have no father, sister, or brother. You have Sri Guru. It took me many, many years to get a glimpse of realization. Unfortunately for you all, by Gurudev's mercy, you're doing this Zoom meeting, that on the 55 hours glorification, something came in my heart to realize that what Gurudev meant, that he told me in my heart, that inspired me to understand. When he said to me, from now on, you have no mother and you have no father and all these things, I realized that my mother, my father, and all of these relationships, as Bhagavatam says, will just like the water in the river or the stream, twigs and branches come together, and then later the current comes and takes it apart. Our relationship, we will never see each other again in this form. We will change forms. Our soul may meet somehow or the other. So I understood this in this 55-hour Zoom glorification, that Gurudev said to me, from now on, you have Sri Guru. And I realized some bit, like I said, that our relationship is going to be forever, to give me hope that from one birth to the next birth, I will not have the loved ones that I have affection for, but I will always have a guide. And coming to that point, Agyana, we say Om Agyana Timarandasa. So Agyana, this darkness of ignorance, Sri Guru is taking us out of this darkness of ignorance. And Gurudev said the root cause of all disease in this world is avidya, ignorance. And we know it's born, the other kleshas are born from this avidya, ashmita, rag, dvesh, abhinivesh. So the point is, like for instance, the scriptures, the essence of the scriptures is tamaso ma jyotir gamaya, move from darkness and into the light. You know, and we see with Gopakumar's story, Gopakumar, when he has appeared, when he has finally transgressed the different planetary system and he has entered into Vaikuntha Dham, Lord Narayana embraced him and said, for many, many births, I have waited for you, but you did not turn or come to me. But I myself came as your Guru Jayanta, and I give you this mantra. And now that you're reciting this mantra has basically brought you to me. So this is the mercy of Sri Guru. Sri Guru is we have to understand that I, the jiva, since time immemorial, I've been covered by this ahankar, in contact with Prakriti. And in Bhagavatam, with story of Puranjana, King Puranjana, the allegoric story of King Puranjana, next to him was always inseparable Avijnata, the unknown one, traveling with him. So Super Soul is always traveling with me, but I haven't realized this. And when, by his mercy, by Krishna's mercy, we get Sri Guru. So for me, Super Soul has inspired me in my dream or my experience, where he showed me what hell is like. And he showed me what hell is like. And then by his mercy, 2 months later, he manifests in front of my, externally in front of my senses as Sri Guru. And this is his form in Gaura's Leela. And I'm speaking this, but I'm yet to realize this. And I pray to Srila Gurudeva to one day to realize this, that you have manifested before me how sinful I am and how merciful you are. And you're manifesting in front of me and instructing me. And you're showing me that love. And due to that love, you're many times he has showed me that. And if time permits, I have a few stories, but I'll tell one more just for time's sake. A miracle story. Now I wouldn't say story, that I have, it's factual events that we have so many witnesses to this event. That in 2009, in Brajmandal Parikrama, Anuradha was like 3 years old, 2.5 years old, yeah. And we went for a bath a few days before going to Govardhan. You know, you spend almost 90 days in Braj, then in Vrindavan, then in Govardhan. So I took her and I dipped her 3 times in the Yamuna. So one local resident, he was saying, no, Baya, don't do that. The water, you know, and I'm thinking, what's wrong with him? This transcendental water, you know, and some went in her mouth. And she started to go downhill. She got so sick. So she started to lose so much weight. We started taking her so many doctors, started meeting with Reiki specialists and so many of Gurudeva disciples. And anyway, we finally went to Govardhan. And Pankaj's wife at that time, Premi, she was helping so much and she was introducing so many doctors. And Kishori Mohan and Sudevi, they were trying with colloidal silver. They gave us all of these bottled things and we were trying. And we were becoming so frustrated. It came to a point where one night she was so sick and she was like shaking. And we thought like this was going to be like her last night in a sense. And my father said, book a ticket and go back to New York right now, admit her to one hospital. You know, that's how serious the situation was. So in my heart, I got angry. And I said, Gurudev, you're telling us to come to Brajmandal Parikrama. And we're here now and this is what is happening. We cannot relish this dham. And, you know, I'm being honest with what I was saying in my heart. And all of this is happening. And I'm so angry. So next morning, I picked her up with this anger. And I went to the mat without the family members, just me and Anuradha. And as we went there, Gurudeva was now coming out of his room from the guest room. He normally comes across the little bridge and he makes a left. So as he came across that bridge, I stood in the crowd. I did not say a word. I'm just speaking to him from my heart. And he's coming. And as he came, he's about to make that left. And as he made that left turn, his body shifted to make that left turn to face directly in the opposite direction. He turned to us, me and Anuradha. And I'm holding her and she's so sick and tiny. And he turned to us and he stepped towards us. and he took off his garland and he put it on her head and he touched her on her head. I did not say a word to Gurudeva. He walked away and he smiled. He touched her on her head, patted her on her head, and he smiled and he left. I'm saying, so now what? A hand touched me on my shoulder immediately after. It was Damodar Maharaj. Damodar Maharaj and Madhuvrat Prabhu, amazing devotees. Damodar Maharaj took me, come, I heard what's happening. And he saw Anuradha, he was like, oh my God. And he took us to Premananda Prabhu, who's in the kitchen area. Premananda Prabhu saw Anuradha and everything, and they saw how the condition she is in. And he called, one of his cook was cutting some vegetables up, and the devotee's name of that, I remember, was Rakesh. He told him, go get your car, take them to Mathura right away. He told me to go pack a bag. We packed a bag and we head into Mathura. Me, Anuradha, Rekha, and my dad, we went to Mathura hospital. They admitted us. So when they saw her condition, she said she has a deadly virus and she needs minimum, was 1 week, right? Minimum 1 week monitoring. So they placed her in the it's like intensive care or what's not, so they can monitor. And they said every 2 hours they have to give her, and they were showing us these they had her saline, right? Saline, and they had her these medicine. Now, when I was reading it, it's for like deadly virus and what's not. They said this is how her condition is, and they will see how it goes after 1 week, and they will tell us like this. So it was one tiny bed, and Anuradha, Rekha, and it was evening time now. So we stayed there. They came, and throughout the course of the night like this, they're coming and they're injecting her. And she's not even crying or anything. She's just there. And I have one picture to show like her condition at that time. I don't know if you can see her condition at that time. And she was just lying there. She doesn't have the energy to cry or anything. And they're injecting her every 2 hours like this. They said they have to do this steadily. And I keep asking and saying, how long? And they keep saying minimum 1 week, brother, minimum 1 week. Next morning, Anuradha woke up, sprung up, life in her face. And amazingly, we pulled out without doctor knowing or anything. We pulled out everything. It's like I don't know what happened. We just felt that she's okay. Like nothing's wrong. It's like, what are we doing here? We picked her up. This is less than 24 hours. We picked her up and we were checking her out to the hospital. The doctors telling us we're mad, we're pagal, right? And we're like, no, I just have that feeling that she's okay. And we went, and my parents and everything, they were at walking distance from Govardhan at one, maybe Charan Pahari or somewhere. And we went there, we were all ecstatic. And we went there and we said, look, everything's all right. And everything was all right. And she's here today, 12 years later. She's 13, so about 10 years later. And good is mercy. And for me, that's a miracle. For me, that's something I have experienced that I want to share, that I do not know if it can inspire anyone, but I'm not saying these things in a way to pump myself like, oh, I have a story or something. I'm saying this wholeheartedly because Shri Guru, if I understand that he's closer to me than the air I breathe, he knows what I'm thinking right now. He knows past, present, and future. Why does he know? So many reasons. Paramatma has been with us from time immemorial. He knows our next move due to karma and all of these things. So we have to understand that manifestation of Nityananda Prakash, Shri Guru, in this Gaura Leela. He's come here, and it's just mercy. He's so merciful. And Dia probably out for time.
was there more that you wanted to speak?
I was just going to say something for 1 minute more, probably.
Yeah, no worries.
And that in 2010 was our first Navadvip Dham Parikrama. Unfortunately, we got to meet Gurudeva that year, 2010. And we were in a darshan with the Chinese devotees on Gurudev's veranda by his room. And Gurudev had his feet on a chair. We have a video of that too. He had his feet on the chair. And while the devotees, so many were speaking to him, we were taking turns in massaging his feet. And you hear Charanara Vindam, the lotus feet of Shri Guru. And you say these things and what's not, but I'm telling you that I walk in New York for so many years with socks and shoes, and my feet are hard. And when the Shri Gurudev's feet, when I'm touching it, and we had ample opportunity, and we were there, my mom, and we were putting it on our head, and Gurudev is busy, and we just taking the opportunity. Like someone said that Gurudev can speak through his feet like this, and a few minutes ago or what's not, and it's true. It's like we're communicating with Gurudev's feet, and his feet are so soft. It's actual like lotus petals underneath, and I'm thinking, because you try to think logically, because due to social conditioning, you're thinking, can this be real? And you say, this personality is walking on this dam for so many years, pebbles and bricks and what's not. How can this be so soft? It's amazing. And for me, I'm a type of person, it's like I want conviction to, and I think that is why I was fortunate. I would say fortunate, but yet unfortunate to see the Yamadutas, because I don't think I would have taken up the Krishna consciousness, because my parents would have brought me to Srila Gurudev, and I was like, so now what? But due to that dream where I promise, yeah, later on I found out it's Yamaraj. Through reading and Bhagavatam stories, try to understand. I've never read Srimad Bhagavatam, never heard about Yamadutas and all of these things, and I'm experiencing, and I've seen these teachings. And when I'm reading 5th canto and I'm holding it, it's like I'm shaking. It's like, this is real. It's like the book. We watch movies where storybooks come alive and Jungle Books and what's not. It's like, this is so real. It has come to life. But yet I'm so fallen that I cannot be in each and every moment counting my blessing and relishing my good fortune and our good fortune of having the mercy of Srila Gurudev coming into our life and giving us, like, we cannot take anything from Srila Gurudev. If someone has a gift for you, you can't say, I went and take my gift. So Srila Gurudev has come and he has given us that gift of Harinam. He has given. So Damodar Maharaj said many years ago to me, he said, we should say we received initiation like this because we don't have the power to take. So just please forgive me for any offenses, and Vancha Kalpaturubhyasa Kripa Sindhubhyevacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavyo. Dandavat Pranam, everyone. Haribo.
One word. Wow is the first thing I'm going to say. It's incredible. Your journey with Srila Gurudev is just phenomenal. And this is okay. This is why we do these memory programs, is that we're seeing so many different aspects of Srila Gurudev through so many different devotees. And this is why we're trying to encourage so many people to come and join our programs and speak some memories about Srila Gurudev. Because you're right, Rupanarayana Prabhu, you said something very at the start of this when you spoke. You said that we are all instruments of Srila Gurudev. That whatever we're doing is actually Srila Gurudev's doing, and we're just the instrument that he uses us to do that for. And it's such an important thing to remember, and to also to encapsulate in our day-to-day livings, because I'll be honest with you, I forget that sometimes. I'm like, oh yeah, I've done so much seva today. I haven't. I've done nothing. And Gurudev's empowered me to do so much things that I'm so fortunate now. I'm getting an opportunity to actually serve him. Well, actually, that isn't even the true concept either, because he's empowering me to do that. And but it just gives you that, that feeling that I am his now. When he starts to use you in these servers, these opportunities, you're like, okay, there must be something about me that I am yours, that you can easily ask me to do it, that you can only ask your loved ones to do certain things. You can't ask everybody, right? So you feel like that. And just a I I can't believe that you went through that journey with the Yamadutas. If I'm being honest, it's like it feels so surreal, because you're right, in the Srimad Bhagavatam, the fifth canto, that is scary in itself reading it. So to live it uh, is another thing. But I mean, I guess it's a great way of sanctifying what you're doing is correct in that sense, and that Srila Gurudev is there to hold you and protect you. Like we were speaking about this force field that Srila Gurudev has, and it's like he's created that for all of us, that no one can touch you because you're mine. And so, even if Yamadutas come to get you, don't worry, you're mine, and I've got your hand. They will, I remember Gurudev speaking about someone was obviously seeing ghosts and stuff like that, and they were really scared. And a lot of people say to say the Nrsimha prayers. But Gurudev said in one class, he was like, don't worry about that. Just say Bhaktivedanta Narayan Maharaj. And they will run away, and it's so sweet, because actually I've experienced that similar, where I've just called out Srila Gurudev's name, and everything kind of just disappears from that situation. So just it's incredible. And this he is ours, and this is our real relationship with him. He's the master, and we're his puppets, in that sense. And it's just phenomenal. You both are such a inspiration, and I really hope that we get to do some more seva together. And I really hope that we can work together and do some stuff. Thank you. I'm a bit lost for words, so I'm now rambling, because I'm just so grateful for you both to come and speak something. I just wanted to ask Anuradha, did you want to say anything? Or I heard that you also do kirtan, right? Am I wrong?
Yes, I do.
Yeah, you do kirtan. And did you want to say something as well?
I could say something, yes.
Come, it would be lovely.
Okay. Hari Bol. I just want to say that I am forever grateful that Srila Gurudev was a part of my life, is a part of my life. I'm grateful that he did my grain ceremony. I'm grateful that he arranged for my father to get a video camera so it could be recorded. And it's amazing when I watch the recordings. It feels like I'm reliving that past time. I see that Srila Gurudev is just feeding me, he's laughing, he's just so joyful. I'm also very grateful that he basically saved my life, when I was sick. I never would have thought that I was saved by such a great person. And yeah, that's it, Haribo.
Didi, one thing I wanted to just say, I forgot, and I think it's one of the main things. It's just like how Rekha is thinking that I was an instrument to bring her to Srila Gurudev. I want to say that Srila in 2008, when Damodar Maharaj is introducing me in when Anuradha's grain ceremony, he said, "This is Kamala Kanta's son. My father name is Kamala Kanta." And Gurudev looked at my father and he said, "Oh, this is your father." And I said, "Yes, Gurudev." Then he looked at my mother and he smiled and he said, "Oh, you're the root of all." Because when you stop and you think about it, like how Anuradha is saying, grateful, it just reminded me that we're all in a situation where we are. Sometimes we have to show gratitude and remember how I have come to this path. Yes, it's true, Sri Guru, but like I said, in 2001, due to some karmic situation, it's my mother who went to some situation and she met the devotees and like this, and she came home and got all of us inspired, and she's always been inspiring us and helping us throughout the years to facilitate us financially when we were down and what's not in Parakram and the entire family. And she's not able to speak, but I'll just wanted to say that we're grateful for that. Tiger.
That's beautiful, and you really hit a point with that, Rupanarayana Prabhu. It's true. We have to embrace what's around us in that environment also, and the people that are supporting in that. You know, Gurudev used to say that a Vaishnav in a Grihastha house, those that bring you closer to Sri Guru and Krishna are your real well-wishers and your real family. So anyone that's taking you to that, you know, we should embrace and respect and love and cherish. So you're absolutely right in showing that, in saying that. And Anuradha, can I just say that what you spoke in that like 2 minutes is the essence of everyone's hearts in a whole lifetime. So, you know, you're such a beautiful child, and also your mom, and you're very lucky because your mom and dad are such beautiful devotees, and so as a family you're very inspiring, especially for Grihastha families that don't have so many, or we think that we don't have so many people to look out for, but there are, and I'm seeing this more and more, that actually there's so many families out there, how to be an ideal for Srila Gurudev. So I'm really grateful that you spoke actually, and you are lucky, and Gurudev will and always will save you no matter what, because you're as much his as he is ours. So, you know, just always remember that and just be amazing as you are. And I'm just wondering if you would be able to end our class in a moment with some kirtan, and whilst, would you be able to do that for us? If you don't, you can say no if you don't want to.
Yeah, we have all the instruments.
Oh, great. So whilst you're setting up that, I'm just going to make some announcements so that I've got you guys prepared. So just as you all know, we take Sankalpa tomorrow for Navadvip Parikram. Most of us are not physically there. We won't be able to physically go there. However, we are doing a Zoom Akram, or a Parikram Zoom Akram, where we are going to have 2 sessions, one in the morning at 9 to 12 UK time, and one in the evening from 6 to 9 p.m. UK time. Depending on where you are, you'll be able to either be at all of the programs, or you may only be able to be at one, but we will be going to each and every place in Navadvip, and we will be guided by wonderful Vaishnavas speaking about the glories of each and every place of that time where we're going. So we really hope that you can join. It will be live on Zoom. There is a WhatsApp group that you can join to get more information, which I've just put into that chat. And also it will be live streamed on our new group on Facebook called the Bhakti Zoom Seva Team. So if you have not joined that yet, please do. I will post that in a second. And I just want to say the final thing is that if you have anyone that can speak any memories of Srila Gurudev, please do get in contact with myself or Yashodananda Prabhu so that we can contact that devotee and bring them on to speak. Or whatever you think is best. So I thank you so much for everyone that's spoken this week. And I just want to pay my Dandavat Pranams to Srila Gurudev, Guru Parampara, and all the Vaishnavas and Vaishnavis. And I pray that I can continue to be Srila Gurudev's instrument throughout this whole time that I am breathing and I'm alive in this material body. And I pray that you all give me some blessings that I will progress in some Krishna consciousness as time goes on.